So I thought I could do a final vlog for today, as well as do my review of Confessions for a Mask, of course. In the last video that I did on yesterday, ended up going into today, as I was up with Hayley up till about 7:30 or so in the morning. So I talked about that quite a bit, but nonetheless I can just kind of finish off. As I says, I read Confessions of a Mask, and well, I didn't necessarily enjoy it as much as Flowers for Algernon. The prose in it was really, really good, and it was just kind of interesting as always to see a kind of historical perspective of Japan, especially in the kind of early to mid 20th century. In terms of the actual contents of the book, I of course knew going into it that it was about homosexuality, and kind of, as the title implies, kind of the character in the book writing a kind of memoir, his kind of like confessions, his feelings, his kind of the development of his own sexuality, his attraction towards men, his kind of not quite fitting in with society, his eccentricity, and kind of dealing with that, as well as, and it's hard to say because throughout the whole book there is a clear hint of sexual confusion again, which you'd expect, but well, it's made very, very clear and evident that he has no sexual attraction towards women. The ending of the book, the kind of, not necessarily the last quarter, but I'd say the last fifth, does deal pretty heavily with him and his relationship to a woman called Soko or Sonoko, I can't remember exactly. And he does seem to have some infatuation for her, but nonetheless, again, there is this kind of feeling, he talks about it being confused, kind of fake. Again, he feels no sexual attraction towards her, but nonetheless, there is something there. It's just a very confused kind of feeling. And I don't know if this was intentional or not, or maybe I'm just kind of reading this into it, but on the other side of it, when he talks about the attraction towards men, it's made very clear that that's entirely sexual, and that he has absolutely no romantic attraction towards men, being not only primarily but solely interested in people who are particularly not necessarily stupid but kind of simple, like farmers, soldiers, people with kind of menial labour jobs. And he says that the second that he finds that anyone who has, like a man who has a sexual infatuation with, is intelligent or can hold a conversation or anything about their personality, he loses interest straight away. So he's solely sexually attracted to men, and again, because a lot of the book is kind of, it's hard to read into, at least his attraction towards women, because it's made very, very clear that it's forced. He's kind of trying to force himself to not necessarily be straight, but to be interested in women. So it's hard to tell if the infatuation that he does feel with Soko is actually genuine, that there is some kind of romantic connection there, or if it is entirely forced. But I think a reading you could take from it, which is quite interesting, is that he's kind of homosexual but heteroromantic, and kind of the strongest terms towards being homosexual, and kind of wavery in terms of being heteroromantic. Again, other than that, I think the prose in the book was really beautiful. Just the character himself was extremely interesting. It was interesting to hear his kind of thoughts, his feelings, his developments, while the main kind of focus, the axiom of the book, is his sexuality and the development of that. Nonetheless, there's just kind of talk about his general childhood, growing up, becoming a teenager, becoming a young man in Japan at the time, which again was also really interesting. Just to see all the kind of anecdotes and whatnot. Again, I didn't enjoy it as much as I enjoyed Flower for Algernon, which I thought was a pure masterpiece, but I thoroughly enjoyed this one, and I also thought it was an excellent book. Again, I think the prose in this one is probably better, but I enjoyed the other one better nonetheless. Anyway, just to kind of finish off the vlog section of the video. So yeah, I finished reading that. As I cut off from yesterday, as I said, I'd went for a good walk, I'd went into the town and I had kind of Tim Hortons coffee. Again, despite having 4 hours sleep, I woke up feeling pretty energised, more so than usual, but nonetheless, because of the events, not even the last day, but that morning, we can even just say before I went to sleep, to not confuse things, I did thought that I could maybe, I don't know, not even necessarily treat myself, just do something a bit different in terms of getting a coffee. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I don't necessarily know if I regret taking it. I did feel like I felt the effects after taking it, but they weren't as strong as I thought they'd be. And then I feel like there was like an immediate effect, then there was nothing, and then later on there was again I felt a kind of effect again. But of course, a lot of that could be coming just from the simple lack of sleep, or again kind of the events of, well, before I went to sleep. Other than that, I walked home. I didn't really listen to much else. I mostly just thought, just kind of stayed in my head the whole way home. Unfortunately, I never listened to any of the quotes of the Magi. I mean, I've got a walk home now, but it wouldn't really be worth trying it. I'll just listen to a short YouTube video instead. Other than that, I've talked to Hayley for a little bit today, but not much, considering that she was obviously sleeping for a good bit and I went out for my walk. And of course, she's been busy doing other things. I also talked with Ari for a decent bit. Other than that, again, not much. I woke up extremely late today. I went out for my walk, and that's a bit up to this point. When I go home, I'm really just going to see if Hayley's on. Can I talk to her? Hopefully talk to Addy for at least a wee bit. Look at Addy's server and watch a few kind of 50-minute documentaries on Final Fantasy. What is it? Final Fantasy 14, I believe, that Hayley sent me. If I can't finish those, I'll hopefully get through a decent bit of them at least. And yeah, then I'll just go to bed. I can't remember the exact time now, but I believe it's about 10:30, like 20 to 11. So I'll probably end up going to bed at about 1 or 1:30, which is later than I usually want. But nonetheless, given the circumstances, I'm happy to stay up, and I shouldn't get up too late. Tomorrow, I imagine that, again, I'll just see if Hayley's online. If she hasn't went to bed yet, I'll maybe stop a bit with her, or if she has, I'll simply kind of go out immediately and find something else myself to listen to. Again, we'll just take it from there. Other than that, yeah, that's just about it. As you can see, it's getting dark now as well. So yeah, we'll just finish off there.